Come one, come all. It is time again for me to make a video for my lovely audience. Now, before I proceed, I need to get this out. Yes, it's early in the morning. Yes, my hair is falling out of my head. Yes, I am very tired. But our subs just bumped up by how much are our subs up to? We're at 79 subscribers at the time that I'm making this. I just have to say, I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate your viewership, your subscription, your time. I've never in my life ever, I'm overwhelmed, honestly. I've never made a video that got above 500 views before. A lot of people liked the BeamNG drive video that I made. That got a little over 600, so I was pretty happy about that, but I thought I need to do something legit, so I decided the next big project was going to be a complete review of the Callisto Protocol, and that's exactly what I did. As of right now, checking the view count, it is at 2,000 views. That is just fucking crazy to me. I have never gotten that amount of views on anything I've done in my life, and it's just such a great feeling. It's amazing that I could make something that so many people like, and I'm really happy that you guys watch the videos. I can't tell you how thankful I am. I mean, Jesus Christ. There's just so much heart and soul that goes into doing what we do on the channel, so it really helps to have that feedback, and God, I just can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If not, I guess you could shit on me in the comments. I don't really care. I can't believe this. I'm speechless. It makes me feel very special to know that there are people interested in watching on the channel. So thank you guys again, and hopefully you enjoy this little video I did. I'm not very good at closing statements. I'm not very good. I just set up my camera and I talk to it. I don't know. But anyway, you guys get the point. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. Hopefully I keep you guys entertained from here on out.
There's something stuck on my mind lately, and it involves Dead Space. With the announcement of the remake earlier this year, I think you and I can agree that it's not always a bummer to be an adult. Never in my life would I dream that one of the greatest, if not the best in the survival horror genre, would ever get attention after all this time. It amazes me that the legacy of the old games has lived on and spread to other places in games like Callisto, for example. The idea that you are pinned up against an enemy that you don't fully understand, nor do you have any chance against, is terrifying. Dead Space's formula brought so much charm as the series went on. I definitely plan on making a Dead Space 2 video soon, because it's a game that I feel I need to talk about, otherwise I'll go fucking insane. There are so many videos breaking down the Dead Space series, and I'll probably just join the latter here, but I've never experienced a game quite like it. It's definitely in my top 10 of all time. That being said, today I wanted to talk a little bit about Dead Space 3 and how it had certain expectations from the fanbase that many have shaken their heads over even to this day. Is Dead Space 3 a good game? Yes, absolutely. I remember the trailer for this game. Seeing Isaac suited up and dive into the abyss where the marker is located, it definitely sparked some joy in my veins, and seeing that trailer at a young age definitely hyped me up. I already reviewed the Dead Space 3 trailer in my favorite video game trailers of all time video. God, that was a fucking tongue twister for some reason. If you want to check that out, go ahead. However, lots of players felt like the game was far too mediocre to call itself Dead Space, and to some extent I definitely agree. It has elements of an action game that seem to cloud over the horror aspect. The introduction to the game, unlike the rest of it, is genuinely frightening, since the first enemy we face isn't even a necromorph, but something far worse, something the veteran gamers haven't even seen before. I don't know, it freaked me out the first time I played. These enemies are now famously known as fodders, and if you've played the game already, you'd know that they are dumb, stupid, idiot bastards who bum rush you and never seem to stop coming. However, this was a much welcome change to the gameplay, simply because the controls and movement already feel pleasant and familiar, and with the added enemy here, it just adds that extra tension. But then, confusingly enough, suddenly Isaac is thrown into a gunfight with unitologists? What? When did this become a thing? I understand that they attempted to add some sort of new variety to the game and its story, and while I do appreciate that, it kind of just comes off as weird and puts me in an uncomfortable state of mind with the game. It's like, oh, now we're playing Resident Evil 5? Okay. While I agree that this game is basically Resident Evil 5 in space, it does a lot more than just throw you into action scenarios. For example, later on in the game you can unlock side quests and shit that give you more insight on the planet Tau Volantis, and even more background on the main characters. It's really unique. There's even a side quest that involves Carver, and it has lots of elements of horror and hallucinations. It's done amazingly. For a few chapters of the game, you're mostly learning about the characters involved with Isaac in the story. Norton, who's just a complete asshole throughout the game, he always makes me laugh with his quips and negative attitude. He's like a 5-year-old.
Hey, who the hell are you guys?
First Gov's last battalion. Name's Norton. Captain Robert Norton. Sergeant John Carver.
Last battalion, what do you mean?
Last means last, genius, as in no more left.
Carver, who comes off the same way at the beginning, is a really well-developed character with a gruesome backstory and a cool suit design. Hell, I'd even argue that Carver's suits are way cooler than Isaac's.
Who's that?
Boy.
Cute kid. Leave him behind.
He's dead. Danik killed him. And his mother.
Oh!
Don't be. We're not friends.
Oh!
Thanks for the rescue back there.
Try harder next time.
Oh! Put in his place 3 times, Isaac. Danik, who is surprisingly a really well-done villain, adds all sorts of charm to his role. Rather than having his lackeys do the dirty work, the player can see how corrupt he is right off the bat.
As part of the marker test program, Isaac, you helped make them. And today, you of all people get to watch me set them free.
No. You'll kill everyone.
Death is only the beginning, Isaac. Nature must take its course, and I can't allow you or anyone else to stop that.
And of course, we have the return of Ellie, who was introduced in Dead Space 2. She's a fantastic character, and any fan of the series would recognize her immediately. We also have Buckle and Santos, who honestly don't contribute much to the story other than serving as your standard "game over, man" characters, and there's not much else to say about them. Of course, while the human combat seems totally out of place, thankfully the game is short of these segments. There's a lot more encounters with the necromorphs than there are unitologists, and as the story unveils, you uncover a bigger secret behind the apocalypse than ever before in the other games. You thought the Hive Mind was an insane boss fight? Well, try fighting an entire fucking planet. I'm not even kidding. I think it's safe to say that while Dead Space 3 wasn't necessarily groundbreaking, it still stands out as a horror classic. A horror classic? Jesus. This game is really that old, huh? Feels like just yesterday, Brian and I were hacking away at necromorphs while we were in middle school. How is it that this formula, to this day, has never returned in a stable and fun condition? I can appreciate what Callisto was attempting to do, but ultimately it just fell flat on its face, especially when we need a game of this genre now, something good. There were a few more Dead Space-esque games that were announced this year during the Summer Game Fest, such as Fort Solace and Routine, which both seem promising in their environmental gameplay teasers. Unfortunately, though, it's just not enough for me to go off of, and these 2 games are coming from indie developers, which isn't a bad thing, but there are 0 release dates for either of them, which leads me to believe they'll either become forgotten about or they'll never be released. I could be wrong, though. Regardless of how you feel about Dead Space 3, you can't deny the series as a whole is perfected in the survival horror genre. Fighting aliens in space with so much raw brutality and emotion, I feel like this will never be topped in today's standards. But I have been proven wrong before, and I'm sure I will again. I just find it hard to compete against a game that holds the bar so high after years of being released. Yeah, and they say video games aren't art or some bullshit like that. Anyways, stick around a while longer, guys. I'm really happy to get the channel on its legs and to further discuss Dead Space and all other sorts of games in the future. Brian and I are currently playing through Dead Space 3, which will be another big video, so please bear with me once again. Here's hoping you guys enjoy your day, and if you got time, play some of the old horror games like Dead Space. Immerse yourself once again in the torment and beauty that resides behind the game's veil. Thanks for watching. Alright, it's that time of the video where I beg and plead for you guys to like and subscribe for more content. If you're feeling dangerous, you can hit that bell too to get notifications the second we upload a video. It really helps us out, and thanks a lot for the support, guys.